Well, hey everybody, welcome to the shop. So we have been getting ready for the circuit. The circuit is a drag and drive event in Missouri. It will be taking place at Ozark Raceway Park in Mocan. Between those two, it's just a short little weekend event. I think it's the 19th through the 21st of April. I'm filming this, this is a couple weeks in advance. I'm working on the Dart. Obviously, if those of you who follow the channel, I had to repair a transmission. I cracked the bell housing at sick week and also hurt the drive shaft. Excuse me. And so I've got those fixed. I'll drop a picture here of the transmission bell housing so you can see how it cracked. Basically, a U-joint kicked out of the yoke, or the U-joint cap kicked out on the big end. I had just lifted off the gas, just started to slow down, and all of a sudden it just major vibration. Well, I got the transmission out. And the crack starts, it's hard to see it, but down here somewhere. And it goes, you can see the crack here. And it gets worse and worse as we go over to the other side. You can see it gets bigger. And it basically goes down all the way to the other side. So I had to get another transmission, build a new transmission for the car, get a new drive shaft made. We strengthened it to some 1350 U-joints, put new yokes in, that kind of stuff. So the other things I'm going to do is I just want to talk about this event a little bit. This is a pretty cool event that Mike Narx is putting on. This is going to go to a charity in Southwest Missouri. I believe it's called Children's Haven. So he'll be donating not all the proceeds, but a good portion of the proceeds to that charity. I believe it's like 20%. They'll be doing raffles. They'll be, giving out, prizes to the participants. And, I bought some little cars, that I'm going to drop off to Mike, so he can, take them to the Children's Hospital. Some of the Fast and Furious 1/18 size cars. Bought 3 of them. So we'll donate those to the Children's Hospital as well. They're going to have a chicken, like a chicken dinner restaurant type thing on the 18th, where Mike's going to feed us. I think the morning of the 20th, Driven Oils will be sponsoring like the first $250 for breakfast at Waffle House, and Waffle House is going to kick in $100. So the racers, can have a little breakfast that morning on the 20th. He's doing, I think the evening of the 20th, go-kart racing, as well. So he rented the go-kart track for everyone. It's just, sounds like a really cool event. Really short drives, between the tracks. I think it's like 140 miles roughly between the two tracks. So short drives, should be a lot of fun. I'm going to run the U versus U class. So, basically my time slip I turn in. I basically have to match that for the rest of the event. Now, here's the kicker, being a 3-day weekend, or 3-day event, I've got to turn in 2 time slips at each track. The other kicker is, the Ozark, I believe, is 1/4 mile, Mocan is 1/8 mile. So let's say my 1/8 mile, the first day is, let's say, a 750, and I ran a 12:30 1/4 mile, I'm not going to run nitrous at this event. But, let's see, then I got to run a 750 at Mocan, run those 750s back to back at there, and then, run the 30s again at Ozark. So it's U versus U. So basically you dial my own type of thing. But again, 2 passes at every track minimum that I have to turn in time slips for. So that'll be kind of fun. There's trophies for like the first to break, the biggest wheelie, probably, I think, then there's, like I said, other classes. And I think there were some other trophies too that they were kind of doing for some fun stuff. So we're getting ready for the event. Let me show you, like I said, obviously I had to rebuild a transmission and a new drive shaft. But let me also show you a couple other things that I've done. One of them is more for Hot Rod Drag Week. Since I've got the car all apart, I modified part of my exhaust, so that will help. And, you know, pretty much, I'll show you also some maintenance I do to the transmission lines. Kind of a little thing to make sure you guys check your transmission lines because they started fraying on me. I run rubber transmission lines that are, you know, got the fiber mesh wrapped around them. They're not PTFE because I was afraid of like some of the sharp angles and routing. PTFE is not as flexible as some of the rubber. I know you're not supposed to run rubber full length, but you know, this has got a wrap thread around it to, you know, help reinforce it and all that. And then I've got AN fittings that I normally run. Never had a problem, you know, in the 5 years they've been on the car and noticed though, like I said, a problem. And so I went ahead and replaced them. Let me show you that. So here's the transmission line that I'm running, right? This is the rubber hose with the, you know, the wrapped nylon around it, I guess. But if you notice this is where the metal that's in the rubber hose started kind of coming through. So, you know, the hose after, you know, 5 years started degrading. And so I went ahead and purchased some new, you know, hose. Made up a couple new transmission lines, put a couple new fittings on as well, just to be on the safe side so I wouldn't have any problems. You know, the last thing I want to do is have transmission line fail on the track, you know, oil get under the tires, all that stuff. So I went ahead and made some new ones up. So definitely something if you run this type of line, you know, check them after a few years to make sure, you know, they're not starting to come apart on you. Like I said, you can see all the steel here starting to come out, you know, of the hose itself. Now this is more what I did for drag week. So I normally run a 2.5-inch exhaust off the header. And I watched an Engine Masters years ago and they said, you know, unless you're making gobs of horsepower, you know, 2.5 inches is fine. Then you can step up to 3-inch and so on. So this past year at drag week, we decided, you know what, I was close to being the 32nd qualifier. And I ended up making the 32nd qualifier at Drag Week in Street Machine Eliminator. I ended up winning Street Machine Eliminator as well. But we, at the hotel the night before, to lose another 40 pounds or so off the car, you know, we whacked the exhaust off. And is that long enough, you think? Oh, yeah. And, you know, basically, you know, put it on just enough to get to the racetrack, and then I unbolted it, you know, for the rest of the race. So what I did is this is 3-inch. And so now off the collector, I have a 3-inch exhaust collector coming off the header now. These are, I think, about 15, 16 inches in length. So we'll bolt these on, and then, you know, I can hook the exhaust up, my 2.5-inch for the street drive, for the rest, you know, with mufflers for the street drive, and then unhook them at the track, you know, and then it'll be the 3-inch coming off the collector of the header, about 15 inches here, right? And that should work for, you know, when we're going down the track on the nitrous, when we're running the 150 shot and try to run a 10 something, you know, a 1090, 1080s. That's about as quick as this car will go on nitrous. So that's what another change I made. This is more for drag week, but you can see, you know, welded on flanges here. So that way I can flange it to the header, and then, you know, it's got a V-band, I should say, to the header, and a V-band also for the exhaust, so I can quickly take it off at the racetrack as well. Just take off 2 V-bands, and then I need to, you know, unbolt it at the back, which is just 4 bolts, and I can drop the entire exhaust off. So that's the changes I've made to the car besides the repairs. So guys, that's kind of a quick little rundown of the circuit. It doesn't seem like a lot, but you know, when you have to repair a transmission, get a drive shaft made, you know, and then just do, you know, new transmission lines, made some collector changes, you know, just a lot of maintenance to the car. I'm going to go through and do a serious nut and bolt check on this thing with the severe vibration it had. You know, we're going to try to get it out here soon for a test drive. It's still like 30 degrees in Michigan right now when I'm videoing this. you know, hopefully it starts getting in the 40s soon. We can, I'm waiting on a couple little things to come in. From WAF Racing, Chris Wozniak, you know, him and I are doing something that there will be a future video on. Maybe you Mopar guys might like these and be interested in buying them. We'll see. But anyway, that's kind of a quick little deal. So come on out to the circuit. Like I said, I think it's the 19th through the 21st are the dates. So come on out, check us out, stop by, say hello if you're in the area. Like I said, you know, the money raised, any merchandise that's purchased like t-shirts and whatnot. I think there'll be some 50-50 raffle stuff and different things. I'm not sure who all it's open to, but, you know, come on out, support a good cause, and we will see you guys hopefully at the circuit. So stop on by and say hello.